Thanks for tuning in to our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an Amazon FBA business in the sports niche. The site makes right around $4,000 per month in net profit, and the listing number on this one is 40394. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller Andrew with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic to monetization to product, everything. What's going on, Andrew? Nice to have you.
Thank you very much. No, I'm just excited for the opportunity.
Yeah, buddy. Let's do a quick summary of the business. The business was built in January 2014. Monthly revenue on this one is about $5,500, and that's a 6-month average. We've got expenses right around $1,500, putting net profit around $4,000. Again, a 6-month average. Your current inventory fluctuates around 3,000 units, and you've got 5 to 10 variations on those units, and they can be swapped in and out. I mean, you include, with this sale, you're including your Amazon and your eBay account. Does that sound about right?
Correct.
Cool, man. All right, we're going to get into all the details on this call, but before we do that, let's do a quick introduction. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started in Amazon FBA and building like online businesses? What got you started with all this?
Sure. So actually, the company was started in 2005, and it's grown since then. We actually, the way we're selling it and framing it now is an FBA business. That's how that's the only channel that we use right now, Amazon FBA. But for many years before, you could sell basically any things besides books on Amazon. We were selling on eBay and other platforms and things like that. So it has a long history and a long track record, but we're basically framing it more and focusing on the FBA portion. I've been doing FBA for many years, and I've sold tens of millions of dollars on Amazon and on eBay in both platforms. And so I do it for a variety of products. And this was a little side business that I started a long time ago, right when I was coming off of college. And I'm just, looking to focus more on my main business and divest of this, this niche that I'm in.
Awesome. Okay. So you're looking to get rid of this one. Tell me a little bit about the breakdown. What percentage of the sales are Amazon? I know you're saying the eBay account is included, but do you do any sales on eBay right now?
So no, we do 0 on eBay right now. We haven't for many months, maybe over a year. I don't recall exactly. We basically streamline this. So literally, I spend about 5 hours a year running this business. That's the main attraction. I spend almost no time for many years. The reason we include the eBay account is that it has over 4,000 positive feedback. And so there is some value, and there's a lot of, for the right buyer, there's an instant way to expand to a brand new large market that we've had success on and sold probably of these products over $1 million over the years that you could instantly unlock. But for the way we use this business right now, or the way I use this business right now, I've tried to make it as streamlined as possible. And so that's why I've done Amazon FBA, where basically I work with the supplier, I get the product to Amazon, and then from there, I don't do anything for the next year.
You know what, Andrew? Let's back it up a bit. Let's talk specifically about what Amazon FBA business is for anyone that's kind of new to this, that hasn't heard of the Amazon FBA model. Can you break that down for a minute?
Sure. So the beauty about selling on Amazon using FBA, which stands for Fulfillment by Amazon, is you basically use Amazon to outsource all of your customer service, your picking, your packing, and your shipping directly to the customer. And they do all your order processing, all those kind of things. So if you think about it like this, the way this business is set up and the way I can genuinely say I only spend a few hours a year running this business is I outsource the manufacturing. So the items are manufactured overseas. They're shipped in. I do, in one day, I prepare them for shipment directly to Amazon, and my factory does most of the work there. And then they are sent to, when I do that, when I prepare it for shipment, basically I break down the shipment and ship it off to different warehouses all throughout Amazon, which is a very simple step, and I can walk anybody through this stuff. I have documented processes with videos and things like that I can share to make it very simple. But I can do it in person too. And the items are sent to all the different distribution centers. I send out everything that I take in, and then as items are sold on Amazon, Amazon picks the item, they pack it, and they ship it directly to the customer. If there's any returns or anything like that, Amazon handles all the returns. The only other potential interaction that I'm involved in would be like a customer question that has, hey, I want to compare this and this, or I can't come up with honestly a good example because I don't think we've from a customer in over like 4 months. So again, it is a very, very streamlined, and because you're outsourcing in this business, both the manufacturing and all the sales and distribution, it makes it very, very easy just to be a brand owner and collect a check.
So it's almost, it is basically an e-commerce business. So for anyone that's familiar with e-commerce businesses, but you have the added benefit of not having to worry about, warehousing the goods, of shipping the goods, of tracking any of that. All of that is done via Amazon. So you're sourcing from the manufacturer in China or wherever, and then you're shipping to different distribution spots that Amazon controls in the US so they can ship it out for you. So and Amazon is great at conversion optimization and all of that stuff. So they're handling that for you. They're bringing search, right? Because people are searching Amazon for the products. All you have to do is, provide the products and make sure you say in stock. And that's actually one of the problems with some FBA businesses, that they grow so fast, they're eating up all of their profit by just buying more product. Like, is that something that happened with you with this business early on? Like, were you just constantly reinvesting profits into product, or have you kind of just been chilling, collecting the profit recently?
For the last few years, it's been a very positive cash flow business. We've kind of got it systemized, but there are times with just maybe there's a seasonality to the products, as there are a lot of things for Amazon. So, I'll share that, in the winter months around the Christmas holidays, we sell a lot more than we do in, say, March. And that does lead to, we have like stocked out before of some products even in the last 2 years. So if managed a little bit better. And maybe if we spent 10 hours instead of 5 hours a year doing it, we would have done a little bit better and, saved ourselves or gotten some additional sales. But generally speaking, as long as you can have a decent idea of when you just need to reorder for that 6 months or a year's supply, you can avoid stocking out pretty easily. And that's the only concern.
Awesome. Our listeners may not know this, but I'm pretty familiar with kind of your online business expertise and, all the different niches and industries you've been involved in. And I know you've got a really strong history in terms of selling on Amazon through their FBA program. But can you tell me a little bit about why you chose this niche in the sports niche? Like, why did you get into this in particular? Was there interest, or was it based on, just you saw there was opportunity? What was the deal?
So many years ago, again, I guess this is started in 2005, we saw an opportunity where basically, back then especially, before a lot of people realized it, there was an opportunity where still you could very easily, through Alibaba, before it was a household name, find factories in China, take advantage of the very low cost of production and labor, and then sell items in the United States. And the reason we picked the exact items that we picked is they're small, so they're easily shippable. I mean, before we used FBA, you could ship these things anywhere in the country for less than $2.50. They have no mechanical, no electronic devices, no moving parts. And so there's no worry about quality issues from, a supplier or anything like that. You're not going to get some stuff that's dead on arrival. And so it's light, it's inexpensive, there's no complexity to it. And we're in a perfect niche where brand matters, but it doesn't matter. And now let me just quick explain what I mean by that. When people search for like golf clubs, they don't look for knockoff golf clubs. They want the Titleist brands. They want the Callaway brands. They're willing to pay for those things. And that's a brand where things are very important. If you're looking at garden shovels, name a garden shovel brand. I can't name one. And so no one cares as long as you look like a decent product and you have, and it's appropriately put on there. People are shopping by price. We're in the perfect area where, as a unknown sort of brand, people are willing to give us the benefit of the doubt. Brand is important, so you can get some pricing premium. I sell the items for 10 times what I pay for them because we have a interesting brand story. But it's also one of those things where, realistically, we were able to come in and jump on and be one of the major brands, quote unquote, without having the real legitimacy that many of the other brands took decades to establish. So it was a very, very it's the perfect, dart throw for where we were trying to get to.
All right, so Andrew, tell me a little bit about why you're selling this site instead of just keeping it. You've had it going a long time. Why not just continue to have this one rolling around and bring in the profit?
The reason that would be selling it is, one, I've got another total unrelated Amazon FBA business that I'm focusing on, and although this is very, very low maintenance, I also have 2 kids under 2, and so basically my wife told me I need to get rid of this, and I can only have so many businesses at one time while we have 2 little kids. And so I'm just trying to move on away from this, focus on my other business, and exit it at this time.
Okay, so you're looking to cut down the businesses you're involved in. What's your plan for the cash when you sell? I know that you have other business interests. Are you going to reinvest that in product? Are you going to get into any new businesses? What are you going to do?
I don't really have any plan right now. I'd probably, use it towards, I don't know, my wife will spend it. That's probably what will happen. So I don't have any grand plans for it at all.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the history of the business. As you said, you built it originally in 2005. I've gotten our notes that we're marking it as 2014. Why the discrepancy? Why are we saying 2014? What happened in 2014? Was that when you went Amazon FBA?
No, that's probably more, when we had a whole different product line that we were selling before then, in addition to the one that we're selling that was generating a lot more revenue. So we probably were 3 times as we are now selling this brand that we didn't own. And so it was going to be kind of a confusion of numbers, and you would probably most likely, the seller's no longer going to have access to that other brand. I mean, certainly can, but we were at that point not focused on streamlining the business and more focused on growing it. And so we were successfully doing that, and then we decided to pare it back once we decided not to carry that line anymore. That's kind of a long story, but also that's where we have kind of the most reliable data. I mean, realistically, with the way Amazon's changed and all that kind of stuff, and it being mainly an Amazon business now, looking at 2013 numbers isn't going to give you a whole lot of perspective of the current market conditions, because competition's changed, the number of Amazon users changed, Prime's changed. So you verify reliability, but realistically, it's a lot of people who are experts on selling Amazon would understand that that's not really a reliable indicator of future sales, going back that far.
Gotcha. All right, Andrew, can you tell me, you've been doing a lot of Amazon FBA, so it might not just apply to the site, but did you figure out anything with Amazon FBA with this site or with any others that just worked, that was just a winner? Is there something you applied or did that you were like, wow, I'm really on to something here?
Nothing too dominant. I mean, basically what I'd say is sales beget sales. And a lot of people know that, and that's why a lot of people, we never did any kind of black hat stuff as far as, giving away free items, or gray hat stuff, depending on your perspective, giving away free items to promote reviews or anything like that. If you looked at our, seller items, we don't have any with, 150 reviews or anything like that, but we still have the sales to back it up. You can see that some of ours might have 1 review, but we've sold hundreds, if not thousands, of that model. And so there's nothing too tricky. The one thing I'd say that we do that is really interesting for our product is basically we sell, quote unquote, 7 different models that are basically all the same. They are slightly, I can get in the details more, but basically they're packaged slightly differently to create 7 different models. And so one thing that we do that's really nice from an inventory control standpoint is if we have one model that just because of the price point or the, sex appeal of the name or what have you, sells out much faster than the others, all we do is take one of the other inventory that we have, switch it over to this new product, change the picture, and now that item is the new model XYZ.
Yeah.
And so we've done that before, where basically we have 7 different products just to get extra exposure and to, show some kind of pricing to hit different price points. Yeah, exactly. When in reality, all the products are darn near exactly the same. Everything's superficial. The differences are totally superficial. And so that's one nice thing too, where from an inventory control and management standpoint, you really don't need to worry about, what is going to be the best selling model for this thing? Because you can always just switch it out with, in 2 minutes, mess around Amazon. So I guess that's the one thing that we do that's kind of uncommon.
A question about traffic and earnings. For your traffic, is all of your traffic coming via Amazon, or do you have any other sites that are driving any traffic? How does that work?
100% Amazon. We do not do anything.
Okay,
we don't have any social media. We have a website that doesn't actually have any content, just for like a email that we had for many long time ago. But we do everything. Everything comes within Amazon.
Awesome. So it's all via Amazon. You don't have any social, nothing attached to that, and no organic sites. So I think that's actually an opportunity that someone could create an affiliate site and get it ranked for those keywords, and it would bring additional traffic and also give you a little bit more margin because you're getting the affiliate deal out of that. We talked about that on some of our podcast episodes. I think it's a cool strategy. In terms of the earnings, let's talk about margins. Let's talk about costs. So what are your cost of goods? Like, how much does this cost you for the product and shipping it to the U.S.?
So the average cost delivered to, my location in the United States, basically, and it's not going to change very much depending on where you are if you're in the United States, is $3.11 per unit. And I say average because for the different models, there is a slight, I'm talking pennies difference between some of the models that I get, but that's the only reason I'm getting those different models is to have a variety, have different looks for the products. But using 311 average is probably the easiest way because, frankly, it's just a matter of, again, of changing a picture, changing a listing to create a new model, so to speak, because they are so similar. And so that's why we amortize that, because you could match it up, supplier part number with seller part number, but realistically we don't do that, and so that's why we use that 311 average.
Could you get that 311 down to $1.50, $2? Like if you ordered 3 times, 5 times the inventory, or is that about as low as it can go with the current manufacturer?
I would say we've shopped around to many manufacturers. There may be a little bit of room if you ordered, say, instead of 3,000 units, 10,000 units. And again, you'd gain a slight amount in just scale from that standpoint. We order basically 3,000 units is equivalent to like 2 pallets worth, where if you ordered a full 20-foot container or 40-foot container, you could get it down to maybe like 250 or 2, but you'd be really scratching at the bottom of the barrel, and there might be some it's possible, but we've shopped around. I've worked with 30, 40 different suppliers to get down to this point. So I don't think there's a ton of meat left on that bone.
Gotcha. Okay. So the other question I have is, I know you do a lot of business in China. I know you order a lot of things and you have a lot of products. The discount or the price point you have, will the new buyer get that, or are you getting other volume deals because of all the other products you order?
No, this is completely independent. So I have no reason to believe that if you ordered again under the same circumstances, it would be any different. If anything, it might be a slightly cheaper because they're already going to have all the branding images, and they're already creating a custom, basically private label piece that they have to make. Yeah. I guess and so I would think if anything, it's going to be easier. But there's nothing that they have no idea of all the other stuff that I do on Amazon.
How often do you need to do something like that, like refresh the images, get them professionally done again? Should that be like a once-a-year thing? Is that a one-time you're done? Like, how does that work?
We haven't changed anything. I haven't changed anything in years. But again, there's a lot of opportunity here of someone, if they put in a little bit of care, they might be able to get a lot of increment of sales. I don't spend a lot of time on listing quality and things like that. I make it sound like this is... I make myself sound very, very lazy, but in this particular business, we really don't do much. And that's why there's so much room for optimization, because not only can you get new markets or add new promotion or add new advertising streams or revenue streams, there's a lot more you could do probably even within Amazon to just help bump up, listings that are already, we have multiple listings that are already on the first page for very generic or broad keywords that are in this niche. And so I think that, with a little better optimization, there's a lot that more can be done, but I just don't care to do it.
Can you give me a range on your price point for these products?
I believe we go from $17.95 up to $49.95, and that changes. I'd say generally the average price point is probably in the like $27.95 or $29.95 range, and we just have probably about, the reason we pick 5 or 7 products is just so we have price points about every $5, just so people who are shopping within a certain range can feel comfortable with what they're looking at.
Gotcha. Okay. And then how much, we talked about how much it costs you to buy the product and ship it to the US. How much does Amazon eat up on a per unit basis?
So I believe once a sale happens, all shipping, picking, and packing fees and commission equals depends on what the price point is, but it's roughly around $550 to $650. So it's $650 if it's a higher price point item, that's the $39.95 model that sells, $50 if it's the $19.95 model that sells. Yep. Because the commission varies, but the picking and packing and shipping is small. And so it's usually around, call it $6 or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. So we're about $9. You're selling it for somewhere between $20 and $40 per unit.
Yep. Correct.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the opportunities. Let's say you weren't selling this business and you were going to keep it with a plan to grow it out over the next 6 to 18 months. What path would you take? What things would you do to this business?
So if it was my sole focus to do that kind of thing, I'd reopen eBay. You could definitely get some stuff there. It'd be a little more work, but you could still use Fulfillment by Amazon. So you could still use the inventory at Amazon to have Amazon send out to all your eBay customers very, very easily.
That's smart.
And I can explain how to do that. So you still don't have to go to the post office ever or, pack anything or have bubble wrap sitting in your, living room, you can still use them to do all that kind of stuff. And so you can definitely get some additional sales from that. There's a little more customer service involved, but that's that. For someone who knew a lot more, I'm sure there's some opportunities to promote on Facebook, Twitter, any of ththose social media sites.
Pinterest.
And then, yeah, Pinterest, exactly. That's what I was reaching for. Thank you. And additionally, there's probably, you could gain some margin and avoid some commission on a standalone retail site, especially if you had an existing one that you could kind of just plop these on and already have a certain amount of traffic. So those are the main things. The last couple things is you could still go back to the supplier and they sell a bunch of other related products. If you chose, especially on a next shipment, you could kind of piggyback some certain items on your next inventory shipment to kind of try out different related products or different products that they manufacture that are still in the sporting goods niche and in very related fields, so that you could kind of expand the product line if you wanted to.
Yeah, I can see that Amazon FBA is great for that, right? You start to add, you can test other products and start to add them in. And if they're in related niches, it's kind of an interesting approach. I have a buddy who's in the same space, Amazon FBA, in the sports space, and he actually gets a ton of sales from a Facebook page he runs. It has just a ton of users, a ton of people likes, and everything he puts up there, he gets a bunch of traffic and sales out of basically leveraging his Facebook page. So, and that's aside from the sales he gets on Amazon. So I think there's opportunity there. As an aside, man, you mentioned eBay, and of course there's more customer service there because people are asking you questions directly, and you have to kind of deal with that. I could see why that wouldn't be as interesting to you, but I've known some guys that that are just doing the margin play of buying on Amazon and selling on eBay. I knew some guys that were scraping a living out of doing that. Did you find that to be the case, that generally products sell for more on eBay, or is that just a product by product kind of thing?
So what we were able to do is, the one thing that's nice about eBay, we didn't really sell it for that much more, but we are able to, with the high margin spread that we have, looking at a paddle that could sell for $40 that we're paying $3.11 for, you can do a lot of buy it now or best offer. And so that's what we would do. We would put a best offer where it's all automated, where if someone saw the $39.95 item and wanted to make an offer for $25, sure, we'll take that. And there's not that opportunity to get that price discrimination on Amazon. And so we would, that's where we did a lot of volume. It was probably tighter margins, but they did good volume, especially around the holidays. And it was a way for us, sure, I'd love to make $20 on this item versus $10, but if I can, I can always get more of these items. So if I can sell more and do 10 and sell those today, then I'll just keep doing that. And so that's kind of how we would use that.
All right, Andrew, I see a lot of upside with this business, but let's talk a little bit about the risks. What do you see as being the risk with a new buyer taking over this business, or if you were to keep the business yourself, what would worry you long-term about this business?
So there's basically only 2 points of, possible failure, basically. It's either the supplier or the sales channel. So the way we protect ourselves from the supplier, there are many, like I said, I've gone through dozens, and I could give contact information for dozens of suppliers for very, very, very similar products who could do basically the same thing. And so if, for whatever reason, the existing supplier flaked out, first of all, you're going to have time to find a new supplier because you're going to be able to inherit, a significant amount of inventory. You'll be able to ride out for at least 6 months. And so it gives you time to even find a new supplier, get stuff on the water, all that kind of stuff if need be.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of other substitute suppliers. So I wouldn't worry about, I'm not too worried about that. It just is a pain in the butt if you have to get a new one. The second thing is the Amazon sales channel. And basically, if presumably the reason I want to sell through Empire Flippers is because there's so many people that are much better experts on selling outside of Amazon than I am, that there's a lot of opportunity to basically diversify your risk. So if you're selling on eBay as well, you're selling on your own retail site or whatever it may be, all of a sudden with all these different revenue channels, if Amazon has an issue, then you can go from there. And I just, yes, I guess you're betting a little bit that over the next 3 years that Amazon will be strong enough and continue to at least stay as big as they are, where you can get back your investment, and then from there it's going to be all gravy. And so
I could see the supplier being an issue, but not that much of an issue with this product in particular because you've gone through so many suppliers. So the real one is the Amazon channel. I think there are a couple of things there. So, if Amazon just for whatever reason you were doing business in a certain state and they just shut down your state, right? They were doing that not that long ago, a year or two ago. Now there are ways around
Well,
that.
that was for affiliate though. That was for affiliate,
yeah.
and this is not affiliate. So they're not going to just not ship product because I'm in a certain state.
Do they have sales tax? You're paying sales tax on particular, you're paying taxes on selling to someone in your particular state, though, right?
Yep. In one state, I would have to collect sales tax. Correct.
Okay, so now if they stopped allowing FBA from a particular state, though, that could be problematic. I don't think they've ever done that, though, with FBA, right?
No, they've never done anything like that where they've not shipped it, because the reason that they had this shutdown that you're referring to was with affiliate sites, and I'm sure you deal with a lot of affiliate sites where no longer in that state would they allow any affiliate accounts. But this is currently the way it is right now. I mean, realistically, if they stop shipping from my state, it doesn't matter, because when I ship to Amazon distribution centers who ship to customers, none of those are in my state.
Yeah.
And so it would be it'd be a non-factor.
Yeah. Another thing is, like, for example, if your product were something like vapes, for example, or those, what are they called? The hoverboards or something, where it was problematic and Amazon decided they were not going to allow those to be sold on Amazon. Obviously, that would be a problem. That's not a problem in this particular instance, but I could see how that would be an issue. And then the other one is maybe less obvious, but competition, right? So if 50 people jumped in and said, look, I'm going to start doing this, and there are a lot of Amazon FBA people going in, that could be an issue. Tell me, do you have a lot of reviews? What separates you from the competition? It's not like a big brand play with this FBA business, right? Are there a lot of good positive reviews? What do you have that separates you from someone just hopping in and competing?
So the main thing that we have right now is the margin. We do have the ability to go lower if we need to, and we do have existing product sales with good reviews. I wouldn't say we have a lot of reviews, but we do have good sales numbers, which really is more important than reviews. If you put in the general category that we're in, which is a pretty broad one, you will see multiple products in the first couple pages. And so having that existing, search engine, rank or what have you, just will beget future sales, because it's very hard to, usurp someone. And unless you somehow are able to leapfrog to the front page, it's going to be a long time before that, gets eaten up. So,
Gotcha.
And yes, as far as the product, it's in sporting goods. It's probably one of the more wholesome products on, that you could sell. So there's no concerns about,
it's not blowing up and burning children or anything like that.
No. It has, like I said, it has no moving parts, and it's, if the people who buy this kind of thing are, smiley-eyed, people. So yeah. I wouldn't worry about any of that kind of stuff.
Let's talk a little bit about the work required. And you said there's very, very little work that you've done to the business. Obviously, if someone wanted to expand this and put it on eBay, they want to start testing through other products. Obviously, there's additional work there. But right now, just to maintain the business, I mean, most of your work revolves around ordering new products, right? Making sure it gets to the Amazon warehouse. What else do you do?
That's about it. Honestly, I'll log into the account maybe once every few weeks to just make sure there aren't any customer questions or any major alarms or anything like that. I mean, I haven't checked the email that's associated with the account in probably over a year. So I'll log in directly to the account, make sure there's nothing crazy going on. As long as there's no alarms, I'll just make sure there's automatic ways through Amazon where you can have little alarms go out if your inventory is starting to get low. And I've set those so that you have enough time to, when multiple of those kind of alarm bells go off, that you might want to consider reordering. So that's kind of my inventory management thing, or my tool. But I genuinely mean, I spend 15 minutes every month looking at this, and then I just let it sit.
How often do you re-up on the orders? Like quarterly, every 6 months?
I try to do it depending on the timing, it's probably between 9 months and a year.
Oh, wow.
Because that's how much of a supply I try to order, just so I don't have to mess around with it. And, you gain a certain amount of scale when you're importing by the more, the better. So 3,000 number, that's probably, I don't know how many units if that's, 9 months or a year's worth or what have you. But that's, with my current supplier, that's kind of the minimum to get all the pre-packaging and branding and all that kind of stuff that I want as part of this. So to make it ready to go for Amazon and have all my stuff, that's kind of the OEM minimum order quantity.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
Again, that's only to the supplier, not even counting shipping costs. That's only $7,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not some insane capital outlay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I don't know, Andrew, you've answered a lot of my questions. Let me get to some, additional buyer questions they might have. One of the things I would worry about is I don't want to buy this business and have you turn around and directly start competing with me in the same niche. Now, I know you wouldn't sign a non-compete for selling on Amazon. You have lots of other things that you're doing on Amazon, but would you sign a non-compete for these particular product offerings?
Yeah, I could do this product offering and kind of the broader category that it's in. So, I mean, I have no problem totally writing off in the sunset, never selling anything remotely related to this product in the future.
Okay, Andrew. And then, we might have a buyer that's familiar with FBA, that's done some FBA themselves. I'm sure that they could take this over and it wouldn't be much of a struggle. But if someone's brand new to FBA and they want to get on the phone with you, they have a few questions, is that something you're willing to do?
Absolutely. And we can spend a lot of time. I can instantly tell you a bunch of growth opportunities for those who are interested, or streamline opportunities, software programs, depending on their strategy, if they need to do something like that. I don't use any of those things, but we can either incorporate into an existing business very, very easily or not. I mean, I know a lot about selling on Amazon, so there's a lot of ways that we can be beneficial. I'm more than happy to spend a significant amount of time making sure whoever the buyer is very comfortable with this opportunity.
Awesome. And then another question I have for you, obviously just a cash upfront offer would be ideal here. You'd prefer it, or we'd prefer it. It'd be great. If that's not the case, if someone is like, look, I want, 30 days of training, or I want 60 days of training, and I'm willing to pay 70% upfront and another 30% after 60 days of training, or they want to do, 80% upfront and 5% a month for 4 months, is that something you'd be open to?
That's totally fine. There's nothing to hide over this kind of thing. It's a cash flow machine. And so I have no problem, and I have full confidence that the cash will be there if they need to do that. So I have no problem doing something like that, doing some kind of financing.
Awesome, Andrew. And then, just to kind of do a wrap up on this, it's in the sports equipment niche. It's Amazon FBA business. It was built actually in January 2005, but it had a whole bunch of other products and stuff that wasn't really related. So we're looking at this since January 2014. Monthly revenue on this one is $5,571 a month. That's a 6-month average. We've got expenses of $1,510 a month for a net profit of $4,061 a month. Again, that's a 6-month average. Inventory, you normally re-up at about 3,000 units, and you've got 5 to 10 variations ranging in price from $20 to $40. And you've got a neat trick where you can swap one in and out for another if you run into any inventory problems. This includes the Amazon account as well as the eBay account if the new buyer wants to head down that path and start selling on eBay as well. Andrew, what's your best pitch in, let's say, 30 seconds on why someone should purchase this business?
It's a perfect opportunity for someone who just wants to bolt on and add on to a portfolio of items to start off new and get your feet wet and in Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon, with guidance from an expert that sets everything up for you and can tell you how maybe some of the best ways to grow forward. And for those that are kind of in the middle, they're not brand new and they don't have a huge portfolio, it's a really nice thing because there's so many opportunities for growth. So if you're good at search engine optimization, you're good at social media, you're good at eBay, any of those things, all those are wide open. There's nothing's been tried, and there's nothing you have to overcome. So you can start fresh and really start marketing in those areas.
Yeah, Andrew, I could see this being a good fit for someone who already runs an FBA business, right? They've already got multiple product lines and they're just looking to add more that are profitable, that are already kind of proven. And this is one for them. More importantly, though, and I think an even better pick would be someone who's new to FBA, right? They're new to, let's say, physical products. They've done mostly affiliate or Amazon or lead gen or whatever, and they want to get into the physical product game. I think this is a great one to do it with. I know you, or I know a bit about you, and I know that you are an expert in Amazon FBA. So to buy a business from you would be really helpful, I think, because I would have that support moving forward. So, for anyone that's listening to this and, they have a question or they'd like to get more information, if you're on YouTube or wherever else, you can look in the show notes, click on the link over to the listing on empireflippers.com, and you'll get more information about the business. Again, the listing is 40394. If you're on the listing page on Empire Flippers and you want all the details about this business, including, having a call with Andrew to discuss it, you can click on the link, pay a deposit. Once you pay that refundable deposit, we'll take your information and send it over to you. We are a little more careful with the product and the industry, so we will have to do a phone call with you to kind of give all the details away, but we will be able to get you on the phone with Andrew to kind of discuss the business and see if there's a good fit for you. Again, thank you for listening. Andrew, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.